Hi everyone, are we live? Hello. Hi kids. Hi everyone, good afternoon, good afternoon. Am I audible and visible to you all? Yes. Am I audible and visible to you all? Good afternoon everyone. So welcome to Unacademy NEET English. I'm your biology educator Ambika Sharma, and today we are going to start a new chapter, that is Animal Kingdom. So again, it is a detailed marathon of Animal Kingdom, right? We are going to complete this particular chapter in 2 parts. Fine. So detailed session, it is a detailed session in which we will cover all the important topics. We will move from basic to advanced level, and in today's session we will specifically complete the basis of classification and the first 3 phylums. So excited kids? Yes. Are you guys excited for the new chapter? So you know that under this NEET Conquer batch, this is what we are doing, the class 11th detailed marathon of all the 3 subjects of physics, chemistry and biology. And in the morning at 10 a.m. I used to take Ace the Race series, in which we are targeting your class 12th biology. Okay. So parallelly, you people can finish your class 11 syllabus as well, your class 12th syllabus as well. So I hope you guys are excited. I hope you people are making your notes, you are revising, right? And moreover, kids, if you want to be the part of our batch, here you guys can see, you just need to go to the description link here, right? To the description box here. Here you people will find the link. Okay, here this is what you are going to get. You will get the link, so you have to click there, right? You have to add your number, your email ID, coupon, Avenger coupon code is already applied, and you will get this course at the price of 14999, and in such affordable price you are going to get the best batch with the best team. You guys can prepare for the NEET examination. So I hope you all are excited for that, and hope to see you all in our batches as well, right bache? So let's start today's session, and that is your Animal Kingdom, which is a very important chapter, right bache? So basically we are targeting diversity. Right, what are we doing? We are targeting the unit diversity, right? So already in this particular unit we have completed living word. We have already completed living word with question practice, of course, right? We have completed biological classification, plant kingdom, right? Even the plant kingdom is done. We have completed it in 2 parts, and then the chapter that we are going to start today is the Animal Kingdom, and tomorrow we will finish it. So overall, you know that diversity is an important unit. So from living word, 1 to 2 questions can come here, 3 to 4 questions here, 4 to 5 questions. Again, from this chapter also 4 to 5 questions can come in the NEET examination. So this entire unit is important. You all can see this, right? This entire unit is important. So today Animal Kingdom, 4 to 5 question means basically 16 to 20 marks. So we are preparing it for what? We are preparing it for, today we are going to do what? We are going to revise for the 16 to 20 marks, right bache? And yes, even more than 5 questions can also come from Animal Kingdom. They can merge the question with other chapters also. Okay, so this is the complete, right? So from this particular slide you guys can see that 4 chapters are there in diversity, and all the 4 chapters are important. Done bache? So now let's start the chapter Animal Kingdom. See, let's relate it with the other topics. So now when you talk about the Animal Kingdom, you know that we have 5 kingdom classification system, isn't it? What do we have? We have 5 kingdom classification system, isn't it bache? 5 kingdom classification system is there. That 5 kingdom classification was given by R.H. Whitaker. So we talk about kingdom Monera, that include all the bacteria. We talk about kingdom Protista, that include unicellular eukaryotic cell, then fungi, plantae and animalia. In fungi, plantae and animalia, we discuss the multicellular eukaryotic organisms, right? The multicellular eukaryotic organisms. So today's chapter is Animal Kingdom. right? So when you talk about the kingdom, it is the highest taxonomic category, bache. The kingdom is the highest taxonomic category. Yes or no? Tell me quickly in the chat section. It is highest taxonomic category. Fine. Fine. So there are 7 broad categories like kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So in this particular chapter, right, what are we going to discuss? Here in this chapter, there are 11 phylums that we need to study, right? There are 11 phylums that we need to study, right? And here in these phylums, right, in the case of your phylum chordata, the most advanced phylum, the phylum chordata, we will discuss it up to class level. Okay, that's your syllabus basically as per NT. That, so 11 phylums are there. We will start from phylum Porifera, then we will talk about the phylum from Porifera to Chordata. We will discuss all the phylums, right? In all the phylums, you just need to know the examples of the organisms and the general character. But when it is the phylum Chordata, we need to complete it up to the class level. So only in phylum Chordata, you will talk about the subphylums, right? You will talk about the superclasses and the classes, right? Otherwise, general about the phylums we need to know. Done, bache? This is what you need to know. So you know that kingdom is Animalia and then there are 11 phylums. So if you want to master this chapter, first of all, you should know the names of all the 11 phylums. Okay, this is what you need to know. You need to know the name of 11 phylums in a sequence. So anyone in the class who's attending our session or who's studying this topic for the first time, can you guys tell me the name of these 11 phylums? Yes? Can you people tell me the name of these 11 phylums? And here in this chapter, there are tricks. No doubt, there are so many tricks, but that is my genuine advice. Do not go for the tricks because so many examples are there. But if you will make tricks, then you have to remember the tricks first. Okay, then you have to make the trick to remember the trick. So it's better to directly remember the name of the phylums and you can do it by quick revision. So every day I will give you the task. Okay, every day, this is what you have to do. Every day, remember the name of first 5 phylums, then next 5 phylums or 6 phylums, and then next day revise it. Do it for 1 week, right? You will remember all the 11 names. Then for the examples, this is what you need to do. Write all the examples on a paper, right? Paste it to your near to your study area, near to your study table or desk, right? And then you can revise that examples daily. Take it as a challenge. Trust me, you can revise it. Trust me, you can revise it. Okay, so that's what we have to cover. Now let's start with the name of the phylums that we are going to cover here in the kingdom Animalia. So when we talk about the phylums, we start with phylum Porifera, right? We start with phylum Porifera. This is what you need to know. So I'm going to write all the 11 names here. So what you have to do, you have to revise it with me and then we will talk about the basis of classification and the characters on the basis of which we have categorized it. Right, bache? Right? So first of all, just revise the name of all the phylums. So phylum is Porifera, then comes phylum Cnidaria, also known as Coelenterata. Right? Also known as Coelenterata. Kids, if I can do it, you can do it too. Revise it. Then comes the phylum Ctenophora and you have to remember it in a sequence. Then comes the phylum Platyhelminths. Okay, Platyhelminths. Then comes Esculminths, right? Esculminths. Then comes Annelida. Okay, Arthropoda. Right? Mollusca. Okay, then comes Echinodermata. Fine, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. These are the name of 11 phylums that we need to remember. Okay, that we need to remember. So, Porifera, Cnidaria, also known as Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, Esculminth, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, Chordata. These are the 11 phylums in a sequence, right? So from this particular part, you can see, you can realize that when it comes to the phylum Porifera, it is going to be the primitive one. Okay, because here we are moving from simplicity to complexity. Here we are moving from simplicity to complexity. So porifera, and then the advanced one is this chordata. That is how we are moving, right? We will see with each phylum, right, how the advanced characters they are present in the organisms. Clear, bache? Clear, bache? Right? So this is in general that we need to discuss. Fine, bache, this is in general that we need to discuss. Now, I have a question. See, when you talk about the animals, what do we see in the case of animals? Tell me, what do we see in the case of animals? Tell me a few examples first. Quick, tell me a few examples. Quick, bache, just tell me a few examples here. Then I'll tell you what am I trying to say. In the kingdom Animalia, what do you see? What do you see? You even notice a lizard. You even notice a spider, isn't it? A lizard, a spider, a human being, a dog, a cat, a cockroach, right? Right? A bird, snake. They all are the examples of the animal kingdom. If you look around in a single room, you will find so many different examples of the animal kingdom, right? Lizard, mosquito, flies, we human beings, birds, right? So there are, exactly, there are so many examples that we have. But we all are so different from each other, isn't it? We all are so different from each other, isn't it, kids? Isn't it? In the case of humans, see, bipedal locomotion is there. In the case of dog, quadrupedal locomotion is there. Humans are using hind limbs for movement, right? Dog is using all the four limbs for the movement, for the locomotion, but still we all are placed in the same phylum. We all are placed in the same class. Why? Why? Because we check few characters. Why is it so? Because we check few characters, right? So when we move from kingdom to species level, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So initially we will consider few general characters. That is what we are going to consider. What will we consider, bache? We will consider few general characters, right? So on the basis of that general characters, we will put a particular organism in the kingdom Animalia. And then, bache, we will go for the specific characters. We will go for the similarities. Then accordingly, we will place them in different phylums, class, order, family, genus, and species. And that is what we have learned in the chapter Living World. Isn't it? That is what we have learned in the chapter Living World. Clear, bache? So as we move from kingdom to species level, what is going to happen? As we move down, what is going to happen? General character decreases. General character decreases. And your similar characters, specific characters, similarities, they increases. Are you getting it? They increases. Fine, isn't it? Isn't it? When you move down, general character decreases and the similarities increases. When you move up from species to kingdom level, what is going to happen? The general characters will increase. Now, why am I telling you all these points? Because I'm going to tell you the general characters on the basis of which we place a certain organism in the kingdom Animalia. And if I talk about that general characters, of course, when it comes to the animals, they are going to be heterotrophic for sure. They are going to be heterotrophic for sure. They cannot make their own food. They are dependent on others, right? 110% eukaryotic organisms will be there, right? They need to be eukaryotic. They are heterotrophic because they are animals. So the nutrition will be holozoic. The nutrition will be what? The nutrition will be holozoic, right? They are dependent on solid food. They are dependent on what? They are dependent on solid food. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion will be there. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and the egestion will be there. Are you getting my point? So general characters, these are the general characters, that eukaryotic, heterotrophic, holozoic, motility, right? Motility. This is what we are going to consider when we talk about the animals. Clear, bache? When we talk about the animals. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yes. Yes, bache, we will even see the locomotion, right? The locomotion, we will even see the neural control, the sensory functions, okay? The sensory functions, everything we are going to consider. So these are some general characters. These are some general characters. Is that clear? Now on the basis of, because we just need to focus on the phylum. So obviously now we will look for some similarities. Okay, now we are going to look for what? We are going to look for some similarities. Clear, bache? So these are the 11 names that we need to remember. So all of you, revise it with me. Revise it with me. How are we going to start? We are going to start with the Porifera. In kingdom Animalia, what do we have? 11 phylums. How are we starting? With the help of Porifera. Porifera is the simplest phylum here. The simplest animals are placed here in this phylum, that is Porifera, and then we will move towards the chordata. So Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, Aschelminth, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and then comes the chordata. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no? And here the largest phylum is going to be your Arthropoda. Fine. The largest phylum is going to be your Arthropoda. The second largest phylum will be your Mollusca. So largest phylum is Arthropoda and second largest phylum is Mollusca. Largest phylum is Arthropoda, second largest phylum is Mollusca. Is that clear? Is that clear? Soumyadeep, seriously, bache? They all are the subphylums, they are not the phylums, right? So now on what basis we are differentiating it? We are differentiating it on the basis of few. There are some basis to classification, right? Right? So on what basis we are classifying them in different phylums? What are that basis of classification, right? There are certain characters that we need to consider. Fine, bache, there are certain characters that we need to consider. And the very first thing that we consider here is the level of organization, right? So as I said, there are certain characters that you need to consider, right? So these are that characters that we need to consider. So level of organization, what we need to consider first? We need to consider the level of organization. We will focus on their symmetry, right? We will focus on the number of germ layers, right? We will focus on the number of germ layers. We will see whether they have coelom or not. Like, are they coelomates? Are they e-coelomates? Like body cavity, right? Body cavity is the character here. Let me write the body cavity here. So level of organization, the symmetry, the germ layers, and then what I just said, the body cavity. Body cavity, right? We will even see the segmentation. Fine. Segmentation, also known as metamerism. Done, bache? Metamerism. We will, other than that, what are we going to see? The coelom, the germ layer, the symmetry, the level of organization, segmentation. Then, yes, what else? Anyone here in the class? We will even see the body plan. We will even see the body plan. And with body plan, we will discuss the complete digestive system, incomplete digestive system, closed circulatory system, open circulatory system, right? We will even talk about the development, like whether they are protostomes or deuterostomes, right? Whether they are protostomes and deuterostomes. And then, bache, we will also consider, yes, we will also consider notochord. It's a very important character. We will also consider notochord. So these are the characters which we will see, right? We will study, we will observe, and on the basis of that, we will divide the organisms into different phylums. We will put them in different classes. So any doubt? Any doubt, bachcho? Yes, all clear? All clear? Yes or no? All clear? Quick, bache, all clear? Done? So see, I'll provide you the PDF. So see, arrangement of cell, level of organization, body symmetry, coelom, pattern of this, notochord, everything will be considered. So first of all, let's talk about the level of organization, right? The very first thing that we need to know is the level of organization. What is it? It is the level of organization. So bache, what do you understand by it? The level of organization. What do you know about it? Be quick. Tell me. What do you know about it? The level of organization. Tell me quickly. Yes? What about the level of organization? But a PDF will be shared in the Telegram group. But before that, please answer my question. Akhilesh, bache, this is not a English channel. You can check some other channel, bache. Level of organization, exactly. See, if I talk about the level of organization, we have different things. Like we start from the protoplasmic level. Right? How do we start? We start from the protoplasmic level. Then we talk about the cellular level. Right? Then we talk about the tissue level. Organ level. Organ system level. Organ level, organ system level, and then comes the organism. Fine. Then there will be the organism. These are the level of organization. Like when you talk about a living organism, that is how we study now. You know that it is the cell which is the basic unit of life. It is the cell which is the basic unit of life. It is the basic structural and functional unit of life. Right? It is the basic structural and functional unit of life when you people talk about what? When you people talk about a living organism. Now, here I'm mentioning that is how we need to study it. Protoplasmic, cellular, tissue, organ system and organism level. So when you talk about the animals, right? In the animal kingdom, we will start our basis of classification, our level of organization from cellular level. How are we going to start it? How are we going to start it? We are going to start the level of organization from the cellular level. But before that, let me tell you that what is the meaning of this protoplasmic level, right? See, now if you talk about a cell, one thing is very sure that all the organisms will be eukaryotic here. All the organisms in the animal kingdom, what are they? They are the eukaryotic organism. So whenever you talk about a cell here, so we will have a nucleus having genetic material and surrounding me there will be the cytoplasm, right? So basically the genetic material and cytoplasm together it is making protoplasm. Genetic material and cytoplasm together it is making what? Together it is making the protoplasm. So obviously this is the protoplasm is the physical basis of life. Protoplasm means cytoplasm and genetic material. Protoplasm means cytoplasm plus genetic material or cytoplasm plus nucleoplasm. This is the meaning of protoplasm, everyone. Yes or no? Thank you, Bache Anu. This is the meaning of protoplasm. Your cytoplasm plus your genetic material. Your cytoplasm plus your genetic material. This is the meaning of what? This is the meaning of cytoplasm. First point clear? First point clear, Bache Akhilesh. Now, my point is this cell is having everything important, everything essential for the survival. Like cytoplasm is the main arena of cellular activity. Cytoplasm is the place where the chemical reaction will take place. Genetic material is having all the information. So obviously this is what we need, right? This is what we need for a living structure, for a cell, isn't it? Right? So it is the protoplasmic level. But when we talk about the animal kingdom, we will consider cellular level because organisms will be multicellular here, right? Organisms are going to be multicellular here, right? So some organisms will form a multicellular body where so many cells are there, but that cells are not making the tissue. Then tissue level, organ system and organism. So this is the first basis of classification and you need to remember it with the help. Yes, even you need to remember what? You need to even remember the examples. So examples are important. They can ask you which phylum is having cellular level of organization, which phylum is having tissue level of organization. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay. Done, bache. So I'm writing it here. When it is the cellular level, right? Just a multicellular eukaryotic body. When it is the cellular level, it is just a multicellular body. Only cells are present. Only cells are present, but there is no tissue at all. Right? So cellular aggregates, Manik. What will you see here? Cellular aggregates. So cellular level of organization is present only in the case of your phylum Porifera. That is why I am telling you, bache, that you should remember the name of these phylums in a sequence. So how are we starting? Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, Esculminth, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So we are starting with the very first phylum, which is Porifera. So Porifera is having cellular level of organization. Right, Porifera is having cellular level of organization. Next comes your tissue level. Right, so now here the cell has formed the tissue. Tissue is what? Tissue is the group of cell having common origin, performing same function. How do we define tissue, Aarti bache? How do we define tissue? The group of cell having common function or having the same origin. That is what a tissue is, where so many cells are going to interact and their interaction will result in a particular function. Yes or no, guys? Respond in the chat. Right? Be active in the chat. All of you. And if you have any doubts related to the topic that I'm explaining, feel free to ask. Okay, feel free to ask. Done? So when it comes to the tissue level of organization, then the example is your Cnidaria, also known as Coelenterata and Ctenophora. That's what you need to remember. Coelenterata and Ctenophora. Done? Coelenterata and Ctenophora. Next is organ system level of organization. Organ system. Now here the tissue has basically organs, not the organ system, organ level of organization. Like here the tissue has formed what? The tissue has formed the organ only. Fine. The tissue has formed the organ only. There is no proper organ system like we have the digestive system, excretory system. No. Organs will be there. In few forms might be you will see a system developed, but otherwise organs will be there. So here the example is your platyhelminths. Right? The example is your platyhelminths. So next to it, right, organ system, where organs are collectively making a system. So from helminths to chordata, from helminths, esculminths to chordata, right, from esculminths to chordata. So that is the sequence, bacho. Okay, that is the sequence mainly. So that is why I always emphasize that one should remember the name of the phylums in one go in sequence. So Porifera cellular, Cnidaria, Ctenophora tissue, organ level is platyhelminth, organ system level is esculminth to the chordata. Okay, bache? Okay. So I'll give you one trick here, right? It is not a trick, it is basically the smart work. If you remember the name of these phylums, so it is very simple to remember that Porifera will have cellular level, right? And tissue level will include only two phylums, Cnidaria and Ctenophora, right? And even organ level, platyhelminths. So see, this is what you need to focus. These are four names that you need to remember. That Porifera cellular, Cnidaria, Ctenophora tissue, and platyhelminths organ. Rest, whatever is remaining, it will come under the organ system level of organization. Right? Whatever is remaining, that will come under the organ system level of organization. So this is the smart work. No need to remember each and everything. Okay. So if you know tissue, cellular tissue and organ, okay. Whatever is left, place it in organ system level. Is that clear, Smradha? Sharmadha. Right? Is that clear? So this is the first character, that is your level of organization. Right? It is your first character. That is what? That is your level of organization. So any doubt here, bacho? Any doubt here? If there is any doubt, do let me know. Do let me know. This part is very easy. And if you want to master the chapter Animal Kingdom, first of all, you should understand, right? This is what you need to understand. You need to understand the basis of classification first. Okay, the basis of classification first. Done, bache? Done. So next is the pattern of complexity. Okay, it is not given in NCERT, but it is related with this level of organization. Next is what? Next is the pattern of complexity. Okay, you can also mix it with the cell aggregate plan. Like initially, right? Initially, this is what I have mentioned, body plan. Right? Body plan. So it can be cell aggregate body plan. Cell aggregate means where all the cells are together, means phylum Porifera. Isn't it, bacho? It means phylum Porifera. Right? When you talk about the body plan, you talk about this na, cell aggregate body plan. Right? Where only cells are aggregated porifera. Then you have blind sac body plan also. Do you know the meaning of blind sac body plan? Yes. Do you know the meaning of blind sac body plan? First of all, tell me, then I'll explain it. Blind sac body plan, do you know that? Wait, I'll explain it here. See, there are two type of organisms. One is clear, poriferans are placed here in the cell aggregate. So what is this blind sac body plan? Blind sac means it is having only one opening, right? Only one opening is present. Only one opening is present. That is the blind sac body plan, right? That is the blind sac body plan. Only one opening is there. So one opening means food will come from this part because nutrition is holozoic. So ingestion and egestion, right? Ingestion and egestion will be there from same opening, the same structure. From this structure, food will come in, food will go out. Food will come in, food will go out. So this is the blind sac body plan. What is it? It is the blind sac body plan. What type of plan it is? Blind sac body plan. So from your phylum Cnidaria to platyhelminths, this is what you are going to get. Okay, this is what you are going to get. And bache, with it, your complete and incomplete digestive system is also associated, right? With this explanation, Akhilesh, your complete and incomplete digestive system is associated. I will explain. First of all, I'm explaining this body plan, na? I'll relate it, I'll tell you. So, bache, if there is any doubt, tell me. Cell aggregate body plan, poriferans. Blind sac body plan, Cnidaria to platyhelminths. The third is tube within tube body plan. It is tube within tube body plan. Now, here in such body plan, what's the scenario? You will see that there is an outer body wall. There is an outer body wall. And in that outer body wall, within this, you will also see another tube. And that tube is what? It is your gut. It is your gut. It is your this digestive tract. So here in tube within tube body plan, these two openings are different. One will be the mouth, another one will be the anus. One will be the mouth, another one will be the anus. So ultimately, what am I trying to say here is that when it comes to the tube within tube body plan, so what will we consider? The outer body wall. Outer body wall. Within that outer body wall, there will be the gut wall. There will be the digestive tract. Right, there will be the boundary of that digestive tract. So it looks like that outer tube is there, inner tube is also there, right? Right, external covering of body wall, and internally another tube is there. That tube is having two different ends, mouth and anus. So this type of body plan is your tube within tube body plan, right? This type of body plan is your tube within tube body plan, and you will see it in the case of Askelminth. So basically from Askelminths to Chordatas, right, from phylum Askelminth to Chordata, you will see it. Yes, in the case of Askelminths and Chordatas. Okay, so examples are important, bachcho. Examples are literally important. Done? Examples are important, Samiha. Clear, bache? So these are the three type of body plans. So with this body plan, right, with this body plan, we can also see, with this body plan, we can also link, see, this pattern of complexity is associated here only. You can also link complete and incomplete digestive system. Wait. Now you know the examples also. Incomplete digestive system and complete digestive system. Right? Incomplete digestive system and the complete digestive system. See, incomplete digestive system where there is only one opening for ingestion and egestion. So of course it is associated with the body plan, right? There is only one opening for eating the food, for excreting the food, means for ingestion, for egestion. That is the meaning of incomplete digestive system. And when it is a complete digestive system, so what is it? So for ingestion, the mouth is present, right? For ingestion, mouth is present, and for egestion, for excretion, we have anus, right? We have anus. So with the body plan, this complexity of the digestive system is associated. This incomplete and complete digestive system is associated, yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me quickly. Yes or no? Right? So same way, the another example is circulatory system. Right? Another example is of circulatory system. So in the circulatory system, one will be your open circulatory system, and another example is of closed circulatory system. One is open circulatory system and the another one is closed circulatory system. So bache, when the circulatory system, right, which will include your blood, which will include your heart, which will include your blood vessels, right, which will include your heart, which will include your blood vessels. So when you people talk about the circulatory system, bache, so we have open circulatory system, we have closed circulatory system. So open in which there is a heart, right, there is a heart will pump the blood, right? Heart is directly going to pump the blood. Of course, Diya, if heart is pumping the blood, right, we know that heart is the pumping organ, of course, right? We know that heart is the pumping organ, of course. So from the heart, there will be the large blood vessels. There will be the large blood vessels from where the blood will come out, yes or no? Yes or no? Here you have this heart is pumping the blood. So what is going to happen? The blood is coming out. The blood is Chandana coming out from these large blood vessels. So obviously the tissue, the cells in the surrounding, they will directly bath, right? They will directly bathe, right? Isn't it? So directly the heart is pumping the blood. So basically from large blood vessel, blood is coming out. It is coming out in the body cavity. So all the cells and the tissues present there, they are directly swimming in that blood basically. Okay. They are directly bathing in that blood basically. Okay. That is the point here. That is the point here. That is the open circulatory system. So blood vessels are not there. Blood vessels are not there in which blood will flow and it will innervate each and every part. Okay, like in our system, we have closed circulatory system. From the heart, one artery will go to supply the blood to the brain. One artery will go to supply the blood to the kidney. One artery will go to supply the blood to the reproductive organ, to the digestive system, to the different parts, right? So here such type of system is absent. So when it is the closed circulatory system, of course, it is advanced, right? So blood will flow in blood vessels. Okay, so bache, in the open circulatory system, you will see in the case of arthropods, it is not related with the complexity of the phylum. So you will see it in arthropods. You will even see it in mollusca. Few exceptions are there in case of mollusca, but in arthropoda there is no exception. In arthropoda, all the organisms, right, without any exception, they have open circulatory system. But when you talk about the mollusca, right, there are some exceptions also, like octopus. Octopus is having closed circulatory system. So these are few examples. Other examples are also there. So closed circulatory system for the very first time you guys will see in the case of annelids. In Annelida, remember Annelida? Earthworm is the example. Remember Annelida? Earthworm is the example. Earthworm is the example. Clear? Yes? Sure? Sure? So this is about the level of complexity. Okay, level of complexity. So you will see the open and the closed type of digestive system. You will see the circulatory system, open and the closed type. So arthropod, your molluscas, they have open, closed will be there in annelidas, in the chordates. Clear, bache? Clear, clear, clear. Okay, so in these etceteras, you can put hemichordates, you can put your tunicates from phylum Chordata. Here, obviously, Annelida, Chordata, some mollusca, right? Some mollusca. Done, bache? Clear? So this is open and the closed circulatory system. This is open and the closed circulatory system. Same as for the reproductive system also, right, bache? Obviously, the reproductive structures, the reproductive organs, the reproduction, the ways for that reproduction will also change when we move from simplicity to the complexity. So that is what we have covered so far. We were talking about the level of organization, right? We have covered this part, and along with it, we have also covered the pattern of complexity. Okay, the pattern of complexity. Clear, bache? So the next character that we need to study is, yes, the symmetry. The next that we need to study is symmetry. Bache, what do you understand by the word symmetry? What do you understand by this word symmetry? Yes, bache, Abhinya, Samiha, anyone in the class. What do you understand by this symmetry? Body symmetry. Tell me. Okay? Okay, tell me. Body symmetry, obviously, let's say there are some things, right, in our surrounding. We can divide them into equal halves in one way or another way. So for such bodies, we use the word symmetrical, that they have the proper symmetry. We can divide them into equal halves, right or left halves, or upper or bottom halves, anything it can be, right? So that things are symmetrical. But there are some other structures also which are asymmetrical. Like if you take the example of ginger. So do you think you can divide it equally into two halves? You know that it is growing in a different ways, different outgrowths are there, of course, right? So when you talk about the body symmetry, what will you discuss here in the body symmetry? You are going to talk about three things. One is asymmetrical body or asymmetrical organisms. Another is your radial symmetry. We'll go as per NCERT. Okay, another is your radial symmetry, and then we have the bilateral symmetry. That's what we have, bacho. That's what we have. Asymmetrical, radially symmetrical, bilateral symmetry. Now, see, there are two words that we discussed when we explain this topic of symmetry. One is axis, another is plane. I hope you know about these two words. Whenever we talk about the body symmetry, these are the two terms that we need to discuss prior to it. One is axis, another is plane. Right? When you talk about the word axis, you are talking about an imaginary line which will pass from a body. Right? You can talk about any imaginary line. Right? What is it? An imaginary line. Something imaginary which is passing from the body, it is dividing the body. Okay, it is dividing the body into equal halves. But when you are talking about a plane, right? When you are talking about a plane, so it is a flat surface. It is a kind of flat surface. It's a kind of flat structure, basically, not the surface. It is a kind of flat surface which will divide body into halves. So when it is axis, when the term is axis, imaginary line, it's just an imaginary line. Now, flat surface, when it is the plane, like we used to say in a longitudinal plane, transverse plane. So any flat surface which is dividing the body into corresponding halves. Any plane surface which is dividing the body into corresponding halves. Are you getting it? Yes. Like let's say there is one structure. So I am saying one longitudinal plane is dividing the body into two halves, right? Or I'm saying one transverse plane is dividing the body into two halves. So that is the difference in these two words, the axis and the plane. So any doubt here, bache? Any doubt here? So now the next term that we are going to discuss is your asymmetrical, right? What is it? It is asymmetrical. Clear? It is asymmetrical, without symmetry. Body is not having any proper symmetry. It is without symmetry, right? So no plane can divide the body into equal halves. When you talk about the asymmetrical organisms, this is what you need to write, that no plane can divide body into equal halves. No plane can divide body into equal halves. You can try from any side, right? Imagine any asymmetrical structure, anything which is asymmetrical, right? So you cannot divide it into equal halves. You cannot divide it into equal halves. Clear, bache? Clear? So we talk about the here in asymmetrical organisms, we have the example of phylum Porifera. Which example do we have, bache? We have the example of Porifera. Poriferans are included here. Clear? Poriferans are included here. So your sponges, right? Phylum Porifera, Porifera, pore-bearing organisms. Porifera, pore-bearing organisms. Porifera, I'm repeating it again. Pore-bearing organisms. Organisms having small or large pores, minute openings. Clear? So poriferans, they are asymmetrical, but again, mostly poriferans are asymmetrical. I am again mentioning this point, bache. Not all the poriferans are asymmetrical. You cannot say that all the organisms that are in phylum Porifera, they are asymmetrical. Not at all, not at all. Right? Not at all. Some are having radial symmetry also. Exception is your Cycon. Exception is your Leucosolania. They are the examples of the poriferans having radial symmetry. Right? They are the examples of the poriferan having radial symmetry. Clear, bache? Clear, clear, clear? Sure? Are you sure? Now, next. Next is radial symmetry, right? So here, any plane can divide the body into equal halves. Any plane which is passing from center. And yes, here also you have to mention this word. No plane which is passing from center can divide body into equal halves. And here, any plane which is passing from center can divide body into equal halves. So such organisms are, right? Such organisms are having radial symmetry. First of all, let me tell you the examples, then I'll explain it. So example is your Cnidaria, also known as Coelenterata. Example is your Ctenophora, also Ctenophorans, and adult echinoderms. Okay, adult echinoderms. So adult echinodermata. What is it? Adult echinodermata. Right, Soumyadeep? Adult echinodermata. Now, the next is bilateral. Bi means two. Lateral means sides. So the plane which is passing from the center and dividing the body into two sides, right and left. It is dividing the body into two halves, right and left. That is the bilateral symmetry, right? That is the bilateral symmetry. Asymmetrical poriferans, we have the exception also, Cycon and Leucosolania, having radial symmetry. Radial symmetry, any plane which is passing from body, dividing the body into equal halves, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, adult echinodermata. Next is the bilateral symmetry. So, only one plane which is passing from center, right? Only one plane which is passing from center can divide body into two halves, that is right and left. And from platyhelminths to chordata. Done. From platyhelminths to chordata. From platyhelminths to chordata. Is that clear? Is that clear? Platyhelminths to chordata. Clear, bache? Sure? Done. So let me explain it. Take one example. Just take the example of starfish. Right? Just take the example of starfish. So in the case of starfish, bache, in the case of starfish, let's say this plane is passing from the center, right? Let's say this plane is passing from the center. It is dividing the body into equal halves, right? Now let's say one plane is passing like this. Okay, it is passing like this. Okay, again it is dividing the body into equal halves. So that is the example of radial symmetry. Right, radial symmetry. So what you need to remember, see, it's very simple. That's why I'm saying here in this chapter, you need to focus on the smart work. Okay, you need to focus on the smart work, right? And what is it? See, you know poriferans, asymmetrical. Radial symmetry is there in the case of Cnidaria, Ctenophora, adult echinoderm. So starfish is what? Starfish belong to this particular phylum Echinodermata. Starfish belongs to this particular phylum Echinodermata. So of course adult echinoderms. And remember, if any phylum, if you talk about the symmetry of any phylum, so let's say overall, if someone asks you that in the case of echinoderms, which symmetry is there? So you will say radial symmetry. You will say radial symmetry, because we consider whatever symmetry adults are having now, that symmetry will be considered as the symmetry of that particular phylum. Okay, if adults are radial, phylum is radial. If adults are bilateral, phylum is bilateral. Okay, exceptions are there, and that exception you can note down. Okay, you can note down that in the case of adults, no doubt the symmetry is the symmetry is radial, but larva or larvae is bilaterally symmetrical. Right? In echinoderms, adult is radially symmetrical, but larvae is bilaterally symmetrical. Clear, bache? That's something very important. Question can come from this part. Okay, question can come from this part. Done. And when you talk about the bilateral symmetry, so yes, so only single plane can divide the body into, only one plane can divide the body into equal halves, into right and left. Okay, into right and left. Is that clear? Is that clear? That is the example of what? That is the example of your bilateral symmetry. Sure? Done? So once again, just repeat the name of the phylums. Once again, just repeat the name of the phylums. Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminth, Esculminth, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and Chordata. That's what you need to do. Clear, bache? That's what you need to do. Done? So next is what? Next is your body cavity. But before that, we'll talk about the germ layers. Okay? Before that, we talk about the germ layers. Bache, what do you understand by the word germ layer? What do you know about the germ layers? Yes, Amia, what do you know about the germ layers? Tell me, germ layers. See, you know that we all are developed from a single cell, that is zygote. Isn't it? We all are developed from a single cell, that is zygote. And this zygote is a totipotent cell. What is the meaning of totipotent cell? totipotent cell means, yes, what is the meaning of totipotent cell? Totipotent means the cell which is capable of developing into a complete individual. The cell which is capable of developing into a complete individual, that is a totipotent cell. Okay, that is a totipotent cell. Is that clear? Now this zygote, it is a unicellular structure. Obviously, it will undergo cleavage, right? And let me tell you, in animal kingdom, mammalian cleavage is the slowest. Like when you talk about the mammals, in their case, cleavage is slowest. So this is the zygote, cleavage will take place. Obviously, cleavage will form it. Cleavage means that rapid mitotic division. After many rounds of mitotic division, you are going to find a multicellular body. Basically, growth will be there, embryo will form, and there comes a time when there will be the formation of gastrula, right? There are different stages now that will form, like morula will be there, blastula will be there, blastocyst will be there, then that blastocyst form gastrula, isn't it? So there are different developmental stages as well. So one developmental stage is your gastrula, right? One developmental stage is your gastrula. So gastrula is the structure in which germ layers are present. So what is happening during the course of this development? These cells, they will arrange themselves, right? Right, Samiha? These cells, they are going to arrange themselves. They will arrange them properly. They will arrange them in the form of layers. And what will they form? They will form the germ layers. So now these germ layers can form the different body organs, right? They can form different body organs, right? These are the germ layers to germinate. So they will form the body organs basically. So zygote will divide, it will undergo cleavage, it will form a multicellular structure. Then slowly in that cells, the layers will arrange themselves, right? The layers will form, right? So that layers are the germ layers. They are also known as the embryonic layers. They are not extra embryonic layers, they are embryonic layers, right? Extra embryonic layer is different. They are embryonic layers. So we have 3 examples here. In the case of humans, we have 3 germ layers. How many germ layers do we have? 3. Outermost ectoderm, middle one mesoderm, and innermost is endoderm. Done. Innermost is endoderm. So ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. These are the 3 germ layers. Ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. Ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. These are the 3 germ layers, bache. Clear? These are the 3 germ layers. So now, if any organism is having these 3 germ layers, that organism will be a triploblastic organism. Now, on the basis of development, let me tell you. Now you know what is the meaning of these germ layers, right? So in the germ layers, this is what we will have. One is diploblastic organism, right? There are 2 types of organisms on the basis of these germ layers. Diploblastic and second is triploblastic. One is diploblastic and second is triploblastic. Bache, diploblastic, di means 2. Tri means 3, di means 2, tri means 3. If any organism having, okay, if the organism is having 2 germ layers, that is your ectoderm and endoderm, that organism is diploblastic. And if organism is having 3 germ layers, your ectoderm, your mesoderm, your endoderm, then that organism is your triploblastic. Clear? Ectoderm, endoderm, and here it's ectoderm, it's mesoderm, it's endoderm, right? It's endoderm. Clear? Diplo and triplo. Now, how to remember it? Again, go for the smart work, bache. Fine, go for the smart work again. See, no doubt in some books it is mentioned that poriferans are also diploblastic, isn't it? In some books, it is mentioned that poriferans are also diploblastic, and no doubt we have to follow the NCERT. We don't have any other option. Okay, we have to follow the NCERT. We do not have any other option. Fine. But ultimately, when you talk about the poriferans, pore-bearing organisms, right? When you talk about the poriferans, they have cellular level of organization. So in their case, there is no proper germ layer. There can be few organisms of phylum Porifera that can have germ layer. So they do not have proper embryonic structure. They do not have germ layers, right? No doubt you have to follow the NCERT, but it is a straight away fact. Okay, it is a straight away fact that they do not have the germ layer. So in this category of diploblastic organisms, only two phylums are left: Cnidaria, Ctenophora. So just remember these names only, na? That's the smart work. Like, see, if you have to remember the symmetry, just remember poriferans, asymmetrical, radial symmetry is in Cnidaria, it is in Ctenophora, it is in adult echinodermata. And now if you have to talk about the germ layers, where do you need to focus? You need to focus on ectoderm and the endoderm. You need to focus on ectoderm and the endoderm, and you have to remember in Cnidaria and Ctenophora, diploblastic organisms are there. And when it comes to the triploblastic organisms, from platyhelminths to chordata, all are triploblastic. So, bache, remember, if you remember these bases of classification and the name of the phylum in one sequence, trust me, animal kingdom chapter will be the easiest one. 50% job will be done from this part only, right? 50% job will be done from this part only if you know about these structures. So, ecto outermost, endo innermost, ectoderm, mesoderm and the endoderm. Now, on the basis of it, there are certain another things that you should know. Okay. Wait, I'll show you. Just look at it carefully and then we will focus on the diagram given in your NCERT. So, diploblastic outermost ectoderm, which lines the body wall, forms the body wall. Innermost is endoderm. Now, in diploblastic organisms, where in diploblastic organisms, right? In diploblastic organisms, in between these two layers, okay? In between these two layers, here, this portion, okay? This portion is, bache, undifferentiated. Are you getting it? This portion here is undifferentiated. This portion, like this yellowish part present in between is mesoglia. It is mesoglia. It is not a proper layer. It is undifferentiated layer, right? Where properly cells are not formed. Right? So in diploblastic organisms, in middle of ectoderm and endoderm, you will find mesoglia. So mesoglia is undifferentiated layer. What is mesoglia? Mesoglia is undifferentiated layer. It is not a proper cellular structure. Okay, it is not a proper cellular structure. Now, when you people are talking about the triploblastic organisms, right? When you talk about the triploblastic organisms, so outermost is ectoderm, then innermost is endoderm, and obviously middle one is mesoderm, and that mesoderm is a proper layer, right? So mesoglia is undifferentiated. You will not find any cellular structure, but mesoderm is a proper cellular structure. Okay, mesoderm is a proper cellular structure. So this is important. Okay, this is important. So see this, embryonic layers. Okay, so when you look at this diagram from NCERT also, you will see here, this outer one, see this structure is showing cells. This is also showing some cells. But here, mesoglia, no proper cellular forms are there. This is just a dark solid color. Now in triploblastic, see all the three layers are having what? All the three layers are having the layers. Okay, clear? Sure? Yes, everyone, clear? Sure? Done. So bache, I'm repeating it again. The basis of classification is important to know. It is important to understand. Done. It is important to understand. So next is coelom, body cavity. Next is body cavity, coelom. Body cavity is known as coelom. Now bache, here also we have three type of individuals. Acoelomates, which are without body cavity. Pseudocoelomates, false body cavity, and then coelomates with true coelom, with true body cavity. Okay, coelom is nothing, it is the body cavity. Okay, it is the true body cavity. Now let me explain this part properly. Okay, Diya, let me explain this part properly. Now see, let's say, okay, ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm, right? Ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. Now this mesoderm part, this yellowish part, let's say this is the mesoderm. Outermost is ectoderm, innermost is your endoderm, and the middle one is your mesoderm. So bache, in some organisms, what is the scenario in their case, right? In between this mesoderm, we will see some cavities, some spaces, right? Like let me show you this. Okay, don't be like, ma'am, you are just playing with the colors. I'll tell you what am I trying to do. See, I think this diagram is clear. Okay, this diagram is clear. Okay, that here we have the outermost ecto, the middle one meso, and then innermost endo. Now in the case of organisms where coelom is there, what is going to happen? In their case, in between this mesoderm, right, in between this mesoderm, you will see some pouch-like structures, right? So not just pouch-like structures, you will see some space. What will you see here? You will see some space here, right? See, this yellow colored is what? This yellow colored is your mesoderm. What is this yellow colored layer? This yellow colored layer is our mesoderm. So in the case of coelomates, in the case of organism having true coelom, we will see some cavity in the body. We will see in that cavity different body organs are present. So let me explain it in another way. Let's say there is one organism. This is the outer body wall. Usually this ectoderm, it forms outer layer, right? This ectoderm, it forms outer layer, and this endoderm, it lines the digestive system, and the endoderm, Samiha, it lines the digestive system. Now here in between this ectoderm and here in this between this endoderm and ectoderm, so as I said, endoderm, it lines what? It lines digestive system or gut wall, right? You can even write digestive system, or simply you can write gut wall. The outer layer of the gut will be lined with this, the endoderm is lining it, and this one is the body wall, ectoderm is lining it. Now in between these space, you will see this yellowish part, this yellowish covering, right? This is the mesoderm. This is the mesoderm. This yellowish covering is what? It is the mesoderm. See, it is the mesoderm. Now see, I'm taking the cross section, I'm taking the transverse section of this part. So I will get something like this. The diagram will be like this. if I will take the transverse section of this part, the diagram is going to be like this. Actually, what is happening in the organisms having the true coelom, which organisms are truly coelomates, or they are having the body cavity? The organisms in which there is a space in between their outer body wall and in between their gut wall, plus that space is lined with mesoderm, right? Organisms in which there is a space, you can see the space here, right? You can see the space here. So there is a space in between outer body wall, the sky blue colored, in between inner gut wall, red colored, plus that space is lined with mesoderm, yellow color, right? Yellow color. Okay, these organisms are the true coelomates. See, organisms, I'm writing it here for your quick revision. Organisms having space in between their outer body wall and inner gut wall, outer body wall and inner gut wall, and this line is important, bache, and that space is lined with the mesoderm. Okay, done. That space is lined with what? That space is lined with the mesoderm. That organisms are the coelomates. That organisms are having the true body cavity. So see, space in between this mesoderm. Space, or you can say that in another word, the space is lined with mesoderm from both the sides. Okay, the space is lined with mesoderm from both the sides. So this is what a true coelomate organism looks like. And in this space, the body organs will be present. Okay, the body organs will be present in this space. Okay, so acoelomates without body cavity, they do not have such space and body cavity in between. So you will consider the examples from Porifera to platyhelminths. Yes, platyhelminths being a triploblastic organism, it still doesn't have the space in between. It is not coelomate. It is a triploblastic organism, but still it is not a coelomate. Now, pseudocoelomate. In pseudocoelomate, we have only one example, that is Aschelminths, right? That is Aschelminth. And when it comes to the coelomates, from Annelida to Chordata, right? Annelida to Chordata. So acoelomates without body cavity, coelomates having body cavity, the space which is lined with mesoderm from both the sides. Now comes the pseudocoelomate. Now, bache, in the case of pseudocoelomate, what is the scenario? In the case of pseudocoelomate, pseudo means false, right? Pseudo means false. So there will be the body cavity. It is not like that there will be no body cavity, no doubt. In the pseudocoelomates also you will see body cavity. But here, that body cavity is not lined with the mesoderm, but mesodermal pouches are present in between. Body is not lined with the mesoderm properly. This cavity is not lined properly with the mesoderm, but in between you will see mesodermal pouches. Like when you take the example of Aschelminth, what are Aschelminths? Aschelminths are your roundworms. Now, right? What are Aschelminths? They are your roundworms, like your Ascaris. Ascaris. If you will take the cross section, you will see inner body like this, circular. In between, this is the gut wall. This is the outer body wall made up of ectoderm, made up of endoderm. In between, the space is there, but that space is not totally lined with the mesoderm. We will see mesodermal pouches, right? Mesodermal pouches. Clear, bache? Right? So question can come in the paper like this. They can ask you this question, that give the example of the organism which is triploblastic but acoelomate. Tell me, give me the example of the organisms which are triploblastic but acoelomates. Which are triploblastics but acoelomates. Anyone? Yes, anyone? Triploblastic and acoelomate. Exactly, they are platyhelminths. Okay, they are platyhelminths. Clear, bache? Clear? So, Annelida to Chordata, they are true coelomates. Annelida to chordata, they are true coelomates. Now बच्चों, even in coelomates there are two categories. This is not given in NCERT, but sometimes when you solve previous year paper questions, you get these words. So that two words are schizocoelomates and enterocoelomates. Schizocoelomates and enterocoelomates. These are the two words. Schizocoelomate, enterocoelomates. Schizocoelomates, enterocoelomates. See, bache, from this schizo, from this S word, this is what you need to remember. There will be a split in mesoderm. There will be a split in mesoderm. Actually, this true coelom can form in two ways. This true coelom, it can form in two ways. One thing is like, right, one way is that in this mesoderm, like here I made it, yes, I made it like this. See, here in mesoderm, you will see some, a kind of split, right? A kind of split you people will see here. Split means, let's say you have one intact structure, in between you got one cut, right? Let's say there is a dress, in between you got one cut, right? There is a kind of split. So mesoderm, the structure is totally lined with the mesoderm. So in between, somewhere in between, you will get a kind of split. This is the schizocoelomate, right? This is the schizocoelom. That organisms are the schizocoelomates. So no doubt, enterocoelomate is advanced. Schizocoelomate, they are little primitive. So here you have the example of Annelida. You have the example of Arthropoda. And you have the example of Mollusca. Annelida, Arthropoda and Mollusca. Clear? Now, in the enterocoelomates, you have the example of Echinodermata, you have the example of Hemichordata, and then you have the example of Chordata. Fine, you have the example of Chordata. Now listen to me. See, in enterocoelomate, what will happen? Basically, the gut wall. From this gut wall, some pouch-like structures will form. Okay, from this gut wall, surrounding is the mesoderm. Fine, surrounding me, it is the mesoderm which is present here. So basically in the gut wall, from this gut wall, some mesodermal, some pouches will arise. Okay, and that pouches will fuse together and then they form the coelom. So obviously there is no need to know the procedure in detail, but at least you should know the schizocoelomate and enterocoelomates example. I have added one. See, firstly have a look from NCERT. So here it is the coelom, right? It is the diagram of a coelomate organism, schizocoelomatus. See this. Endoderm is lined with mesoderm. Ectoderm internally is lined with mesoderm. So basically the body cavity from both the sides, it is lined with mesoderm. Coelomates they are aschelmins. So in pseudocoelomates, only one example is there, aschelmins, roundworms, mesodermal pouches are present, and they are, see, no cavity here. So this diagram is also the diagram which we see in the case of triploblastic organism, but here also they are showing that there is no cavity in mesoderm. Clear, bache? There is no cavity in mesoderm. Is that clear? Yes, everyone. Is that clear? And see here, this is the diagram that I have added. So see, endoderm, early mesoderm cell. So early mesoderm cell. So basically in mesoderm, there will be a kind of split, right? This gap, this split is there in mesoderm. And this is how the schizocoelom will form, right? Schizocoelom will form. In NCERT, this is the diagram that we see. Now, here in enterocoelom, this is the endoderm. You will see some gut, some pouches will start. Some pouches will start forming. They are associated with the gut wall, right? Mesodermal cells, they are associated with this gut wall, with this endoderm. And then they will form some pouches, right? These pouches will get separated and then again they will form the cavity. Okay, so ultimately cavity will form in same way that it is lined with the mesoderm, but here the method by which they form is different. Okay, only this method is different, right, bache? So now you know the diploblastic organism and the triploblastic organism. We know about the circulatory system as well. Now we need to focus on the segmentation. There are only few characters left. Okay, only few characters are left. Then we will start the phylum Porifera. So any doubt here, bache? Yes, any doubt? Tell me quickly. Any doubt? Doubt, doubt, doubt. Doubt or no doubt? No, ma'am, we are sleeping, we are done. We cannot remember it. है ना? But we will cry at the end that, ma'am, we don't know the animal kingdom. What to do in animal kingdom? How to revise the examples with the animal kingdom? है ना? Isn't it? Isn't it? No, ma'am. So, bache, please, please, please focus here, start revising, take these sessions seriously. Okay. So, next character that we need to discuss is segmentation. It is also known as metamerism, and for the first time, the true segmentation, the true metamerism, we will see in the case of Annelida. Okay, we will see the true segmentation in the case of Annelida. Is that clear? Is that clear? But here also we have the example of pseudo. Pseudo means false. False metamerism, false segmentation. So false segmentation we see in the case of platyhelminths, especially your tapeworm. Okay, especially the tapeworm. Let me explain this. Now, what is the segmentation? Segments, to form the segments. Here, basically, the body is divided externally or internally. Body is divided externally and internally. It can be externally and internally. It can be externally or internally. Ultimately, body is divided into few segments. Body is divided into few segments, and there should be the serial repetition of few organs. When we need to divide, when we need to explain the segmentation or the metamerism, this is what we are going to say, right? That body is externally and internally, like externally and internally both, or sometimes either like sometimes you can say that internally it is divided, yeah, externally it is divided. This can also be the scenario. Or there should be the serial repetition of at least some organs. So for the first time we see the true segmentation in the case of your Annelida, in the case of your earthworm. So here, see, internally can you see these segments? Internally, can you see these segments? One segment, two segment, three. Internally, see, the septa is forming it. Septum singular, septa plural. Internally, the septum singular, septa plural. Septa is forming these segments. And externally, can you see these groove-like structures? Groove-like structures, we call them as annulus. So these annulus, singular is annulus, plural is annuli. So these annuli, they are forming these, right? They are forming the external segments. So such examples of true segmentation, of true metamerism, in which the body is divided into externally and internally into segments, right? And there is the serial repetition of some organs. We see it in the case of earthworm, in the case of Annelida. Okay, and let me give you the example of serial repetition. Like here in the case of earthworm also, you will see in some segments the same nephridia will be present. The nephridia will be repeated. Let's take Samiha, take the example of human body. In our case, vertebrae, they are repeated, right? We have so many vertebrae, they are repeated, isn't it? Isn't it? So this is what segmentation is. This is what metamerism is. Clear, bache? Now, why am I saying that in the case of platyhelminths, especially in the case of tapeworm, there is the false segmentation? Why? Yes, anyone in the class? But can you tell me why do we say that in the case of tapeworm, there is the pseudo metamerism, there is the false segmentation? Right? Remember the structure of tapeworm. Tapeworm, an endoparasite. Tapeworm, an endoparasite. Right? Having suckers, having hooks for the attachment. So in the case of tapeworm, the segments are not embryonic. Right? In the case of tapeworm, you will see these structures here. You will see these segments here. We call them as glottids. Right? We call them as glottids. So these segments, they are arising from the neck region. Basically neck, near to the neck, you can see newly formed segment. Right? From neck, they are deriving. Are you getting it? From the neck region, they are deriving. So these are the segments. These segments are not embryonic. Right? These are the glottids. They are not embryonic. Are you getting it? They are not embryonic. Are you getting it, Samiha? Yes, bache. So that is why we are saying it is the pseudo metamerism. It is the false segmentation. Embryonic, in the embryonic stages, we do not see these segments, right? We do not see these segments. Clear, bache? Yes. Is that clear? Sure. Segmentation. Sure. Done. So next character, or you can say that next character is your notochord. But now what is this notochord? Notochord is a mesodermally derived, means it is made up of mesodermally derived rod-like structure. It's a flexible structure. What is it? It's a flexible structure. It's a rod-like structure, the notochord. Right? The notochord, it is made up of mesoderm. This structure is very important because in some organism, right, like in our case, it is going to form the future vertebral column. Are you getting it? It is also going to form the future vertebral column. This notochord, it's a flexible tube present on the dorsal side here. So, presence of notochord and absence of notochord will tell us that which organism is a chordate, which organism is a non-chordate. Like chordates, where the presence of notochord is there, non-chordates, where there is the absence of notochord, like your Porifera to Echinodermata. They all are non-chordates, right? Porifera to Echinodermata, they all are non-chordates, right, bache? They all are non-chordates. So chordate in which this notochord, this tube-like structure is present, right? Can you see this? This tube-like structure, right? And this diagram, bache, this diagram is typically of the chordates. These are the 4 basic characters that we will discuss when we'll start the phylum Chordata. But this is about the notochord. Okay, this is about the notochord. But one more structure is there, one more basis of classification is there. It depends upon embryonic development, right? It depends upon what? This character, this particular character depends upon the embryonic development. Okay, like we have 2 words. One is protostomes. One is protostomes, right? Another word is deuterostomes. One is protostomes. Another word is deuterostomes. You can also say that protostomians, deuterostomians, right? Protostomians, deuterostomians. You can use any word. This is as per the development. Like, see, you know that it is the zygote which will develop, and further, cleavage will be there. Further, other stages will be there. So, in the blastocyst, you will see one structure, that is your blastopore. Right, in the human reproduction chapter in detail, we will discuss it. So, blastocyst, what will it form? It will form blastopore, right? It will form blastopore. So, here we have a trick that is bad. That is bad. What is the trick that we have here? It is bad. B stands for blastopore. A stands for anus. D stands for deuterostomes. Right, D stands for deuterostomes. So deuterostomes are the organisms in which blastopore form anus first. Right, blastopore, it forms anus first. So that is why trick here is bad. So bad is good. It is helping us to remember a trick. Right, and in protostomes, what do we have? We have, in protostomes, we will see that blastopore will form the mouth. Right, here it will form the mouth. Clear? Clear? So, in the case of your deuterostomes, blastopore is going to form the anus. It will form the anus first. So, your echinodermata, deuterostomous development, your hemichordata, deuterostomous development, your chordata, deuterostomous development. So, see, rest all are what? They are protostomes. Okay, rest all are protostomes. Is that clear, bachcho? Hanji, tell me quickly. Tell me quickly. So protostomes in which mouth is formed first. So blastopore is going to form the mouth, and deuterostomes in which anus will formed first. Right? In which anus will formed first, and the blastopore will form anus. Clear? That is what you need to remember. So, from platyhelminths, arthropoda, Annelida. Sorry, mollusca. They comes under the protostomes. Clear, bache? They are the part of protostomes. Protostomiates they are. See, protostomes. So see, blastopore is forming the mouth here, and here the blastopore is forming the anus. So in deuterostomes, anus will form first. In protostomes, the mouth will form first. Right? In the protostomes, the mouth will form first. Is that clear? Yes. Is that clear? Yes, Priyanka, Sujay, Sri, Samiha, Chandana. Okay. Done, bache. So here you guys can see the notochord. Where is it present? Where is it absent? Right. So this is the classification of the animal. This table is this flow chart is very important. So now I think you all can remember animals. They are multicellular. They are eukaryotes. Fine. So cellular level will include your porifera only. So in porifera, symmetry is asymmetrical. Body symmetry is also, they are acoelomates. Clear, bache? They are acoelomates. Now, radial symmetry. So radial symmetry means tissue level of organization and radial symmetry in coelenterata and ctenophora. Right? Organ level of organization and radial bilateral symmetry without body cavity in platyhelminths, with false body cavity in esculminth, with the true cavity here. So here in this table, no doubt in bilateral symmetry they have mentioned echinodermata, but you know that adult echinoderms, they are having radial symmetry, right? This is important point. Adult echinoderms, they have, like your starfish, radial symmetry, and larvae will have bilateral symmetry. Clear? In the case of larva, what will you see? You will see bilateral symmetry, right? You will see bilateral symmetry. Clear, bacho? Done. So that is the point. These are the bases of classification. So if bases of classification are clear, then trust me, there will be no problem at all. Okay, there will be no problem at all. Done? Sure, bache? Done? Yes or no? Okay, so here you guys can see the level of organization. Though all members of Animalia, they are multicellular, all of them do not exhibit the same pattern of organization. In sponges, sponges means your poriferans, right? Sponges means your poriferans. Where what do we have? We have the loose cell aggregates. That is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. Clear, bache? They exhibit cellular level of organization. Done? Done, bacha? Right? So tissue level will be there in Cnidaria and Ctenophora. Organ in the case of platyhelminth. Organ system is the rest. So everything given in NCERT is also covered. I'll provide you the PDF so that you can use this PDF for the quick revision. Now answer few questions. Then we'll start the phylum Porifera. Okay, answer few questions. So which of the following level of organization is found in coelenterata? Yes, which of the following level of organization is found in coelenterata? See, bache, there is a poll. Answer it quickly. Are you guys the part of Avengers or the Energized batch? Yes or no? Just answer quickly. Right? Answer it in that poll. Yes? And do let me know the answer of this question also. Which of the following level of organization is found in coelenterata? Of course, it is the tissue level of organization, right? It is the tissue level of organization. Next, bilateral symmetry is found in. Yes, bacho, bilateral symmetry is found in. Bilateral symmetry is found in. Yes, tell me, bilateral symmetry is found in. Coelenterata? No. Coelenterata? No. Not even in the echinoderms. Arthropoda and Annelida? Yes. So, of course, here the correct answer is C. right? It is C. The next question, identify the characters of A coelomates. Yes, identify the characters of A coelomates. Quick, identify the characters of A coelomates. A coelomates, there will be the absence of coelom, so there will be the solid body without a cavity surrounding internal organs. Okay, there will be the solid body that without a cavity surrounding the internal organ, and bache coelom that is incompletely lined with the mesoderm, pseudocoelomates. Okay, you have the example of pseudocoelomates. Clear bache? So next is phylum Porifera, but before that tell me all the characters, all that basis of classification clear, or do you have any other doubt? Yes, do you have any other doubt, or it's clear? Yes ma'am, it's done, it's done. Tell me quick, then we'll start this part. Okay, so bache, see, next part from Porifera to Chordata in one go we will discuss in next session. So next animal kingdom session will be a long session. Okay, it is going to be a long session, and in this session we'll talk about all the important characters, all the important points, and moreover we will practice the questions. So animal kingdom chapter is itself important, right? Revise these bases of classification, remember it, and then we will continue with the next part. Okay, so today this is the part that we are going to cover. And yes, in the comment section today, right after the class, just let me know which chapter you people want to start next. Okay, which chapter you all want to start next. This is what you need to tell me in the comment section after the class. So I hope you liked it. Stay tuned, do subscribe our channel, and if you want to join the NEET Analyze batch, I already told you what you have to do. You just need to click on the link here given in the description box, and if you have any doubt related to it, then you can fill up this Google form, right? So click on the link here, add your number, add your email ID, you will be the part of our batch, but join it as soon as possible. Okay, so thank you so much, take care, stay tuned.